Evidence-based approaches to qualification are deceptively simple. By ensuring that what you and your team believe is based on what you and they have observed firsthand, it makes it not only scientific, engaging their minds, but also motivational, engaging their hearts as well. It virtually guarantees increasing rather than decreasing returns. The first thing to recognize is that we all come to our jobs with hard-earned beliefs based on our past experiences. And since all of our backgrounds are different, we're naturally going to see things differently. This means that without realizing it, we're all a bit like the old parable of the blind men around an elephant. Having drawn conclusions from touching the elephant's trunk or its legs or its tail, the blind men spend their time disagreeing about what the elephant is like and what should be done. In a continuous improvement or evidence-based environment, the leader doesn't hand down best practices or make decisions for the team. Instead, they develop respectful agreement around what everyone has observed, what this means, and what changes might create improvement. The second important thing about this kind of an approach is that it recognizes how complex our modern world is. No single person knows all the nuances that go on between B2B companies. Producing anything of value requires some sort of production system, some end-to-end linked set of measurable activities. When you measure your beliefs against the results of your actions, you perform an experiment, and that's what enables you to learn. And that's what enables your salespeople to learn. The only difference between producing physical products and producing sales is that with products, the value is in meeting the specification. With sales, the value created is between someone's ears. It's invisible. It's their motive. It's their desire to take an action. Now, this does not mean you can't measure or analyze people's behaviors. It means you have to invent a way of measuring it. All sorts of measurements determine whether a product meets its requirements. And likewise, salespeople need all kinds of measurements, qualification criteria among them, as standards for determining how likely a prospect is to become a successful customer. And as you'll see, this approach is the simplest and fastest way to improve your sales results. And here's the rub. The big generalized qualification words like budget, need, authority, and timing, they are not data. They are not observations. They are evaluations or judgments, and that is problematic for a number of reasons. Since salespeople all come from different backgrounds and cultures, they're going to interpret these words differently. People who live in New York City or Austin, Texas, much less Berlin, Shanghai, or South Africa, are all going to think differently about this. Their cultures that they live in are different. All those big qualification words are loaded with different meanings. And worse, your opinion is important to your people personally, since you're their boss. They're motivated to tell you what you want to hear. Heck, that's what salespeople are basically paid to do. This lack of objectivity is why it's such a bad idea to use big general words in the CRM to qualify your accounts. What appears to be data input to your CRM is not data at all. It's unfortunately often garbage. And as long as this is the case, your team can't help but stagnate with low close ratios, lousy productivity, and unreliable forecasts. What's the solution to this conundrum? Sales leaders need an explicit method for aligning their people's language and perspectives to the real-world experiences, if their observations are to constitute data and evidence. In the next video, I'll show you how this works and why it improves results so quickly.